obviously we talked about can of corns earlier. My sister found out what that meant, and if you don't know
Years
what that
ago, by
means,
the way, not like recently, like years
if you don't know
ago.
what can of corn means, it's pretty much like an easy pop up. Like you just sit there and catch it. And the reason it's called, do you want to talk? Because I know this is your favorite word. I'll let you describe why it's called a can of corn.
Well, it's so basically when okay, so you're watching baseball and then there's a guy there and the ball gets hit to him and you notice, as in much of baseball, he doesn't really move. He just kind of like goes like this and then eventually very sassily sometimes puts his
Sometimes.
glove up and then the ball like goes right there and then that's it. And that's exactly how that is
Yeah.
exactly how it is. And that's called a can of corn or canned corn, whatever.
It's a can of like they'll say that hit. Oh, that's a can of corn.
That's a can of corn,
yeah,
whatever.
Can of corn.
And so that is because back in some time that I'm not aware of,
all legit, by the way.
Allegedly,
no, it's legit.
From what I've heard,
this is where it came from.
They had, at a grocery store and stuff, they had like cans on inventory, and so they would like hit the can of corn down, and then the guy would catch it in his apron because they used to have aprons. Actually, worked at a grocery store, also had an apron. This is not the point of the story. So you catch it in your apron. So it's a can of corn. So now when you see them just like kind of like waiting for the ball, it's like the guy in the grocery store. So I'm obsessed with this. I think it's the funniest thing I've ever heard. I love baseball phrases like this. I think it's amazing.
So way to throw in and plug that you're a blue collar worker back in the day. But
I am.
The reason why we're talking about this now is because Joe Davis, who's my favorite broadcaster for
I still have the apron, by the way, too.
Do you really?
I do, actually.
We're gonna have to
in my memory
we're gonna
box.
have to get her to wear that.
Yeah, next.
We're gonna put
next
that
episode,
on for
I'm
next
coming
episode.
with my apron on.
But Joe Davis, so he's an announcer for Fox Sports. He does all of the Dodgers games.
Did he say can of corn?
No.
Oh.
Maybe, I don't know. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is he does all the Dodgers games for the regular season. He does playoff baseball. He has great calls. Even last year, he replaced Joe Buck, and I love Joe Davis as an announcer. But during the Baltimore Rangers series, he ripped off like Baltimore chop at least 5 times. And that got me thinking, like, wow, all these baseball lingo, like, you hear Baltimore chop. I'm like, that's a word that's his can of corn to you, right? So I put together a few, baseball lingos, and I thought it'd be funny to have my sister.
You want to do this right now?
Yeah, I do. Just
okay.
Really quick, just a couple
do
words.
A couple of them.
Yeah, exactly. Just thought it'd be cool to see her, kind of guess what a lot of these words mean.
You know what? Well, we'll talk about it during the Twins game. Go ahead.
Okay, so I guess the first one that we need to start is a Baltimore chop. Lisa, what is a Baltimore chop? You're on the clock.
A Baltimore chop is when you live in Baltimore and you're really hungry and you are like, what do I feel like?
Okay, so
like a pork chop. It's a Baltimore chop.
No, a Baltimore chop. I mean, maybe it is in some sectors, but no, in the baseball lingo world, a Baltimore chop is when a player hits the ball and it hits the front of home plate and bounces really high.
Why is it called a Baltimore chop?
Back in the day, this is what I assume, Baltimore's groundkeepers had the clay in front of home plate really hard. So if you hit the ball, it would bounce into the outfield. Like it would bounce over the heads of the infielders, and they call it a Baltimore chop because the clay in Baltimore is
so it actually bounces over the infield line.
It's like a high chopper. It hits home plate first and bounces really high.
Let me ask you this.
We got to keep going now. We got to keep going.
Okay.
Ask it though while I look at.
Could a Baltimore chop become a can of corn, or is it just not high enough?
No, because a can of corn.
That high.
A can of corn is like an out. You're not. Yeah. You can't. Once it hits the ground, it's not. Good question, though. That's high. Fair. Yeah, exactly. Bronx cheer. You're on the clock. Bronx cheer.
It's when you hear the subway go by.
No, a Bronx cheer is when you boo somebody.
Oh, okay.
Think about it.
I do that all the time.
Boos, yeah. Bronx cheer.
I don't know, man. You're starting to doing this actually makes me want to be a Yankees fan again. So be careful.
That's all right. I could honestly care less. Chin music. On the clock for chin music.
Is that like the guy had like a butt chin or something, and then like the wind would
whistle
create a sound? Yeah, I don't know.
You're trying really hard, but no, it's not chin.
That's the hell could this be? Is this when you're like
pitch
calling? Okay.
It's a pitch that is high and tight and almost brushes your chin.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Hey, give him a little chin music. It's like that must be like 1940s gangster era baseball. It's like, hey, pitch, give him a little chin music there.
Plus, hit him with a little bit of chin music.
Hey, listen here, see, you don't all high cheese chin music. So let's do one more here. I'm trying to see Texas Leaguer. That's pretty good for this series here. What's a Texas Leaguer?
A Texas Leaguer.
Yeah, on the clock for that. Nah, nothing to go up with that one. I don't blame you. Like baseball lingo is so just like out of pocket.
I don't know. Is that when you show up to the stadium on a horse? Like, what is it? Like,
yeah, it's a Texas leaguer right there. No, it's like a blue pit.
So what?
It's a blue pit. Maybe that's another word. Blue pit. What is that? It's a Texas leaguer. Who's on first? What's on second? A blue pit is like a. God, how do I describe this and not? I was gonna say a bleeder. A blue. You don't hit.
And then they wonder why everyone like doesn't watch baseball.
A Texas leaguer is a blue pit. A blue pit's a bleeder. What are you not getting here?
Obviously, you get a bleeder past your chin whistle, and now you've got a Baltimore chop.
Now you're ripping Baltimore chops in an alley. I was like, okay, chill out.
Yeah, okay, you sound like you need help.
Texas leaguer is essentially just kind of like when I say a blue pit, it's like a ball you got jammed on or hit off the cap, and you hit it really soft, but you still get a hit out of it. It's usually like a little ball in the air that just drops in front of the outfielders or behind the infielders.
Okay.
So it's not a line drive hit. It's a hit.
Yeah.
It's a Texas leaguer.
See, I would say I need to rename these things. That I would call a.
I don't like that.
Yeah, he hit it.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
How'd it hit?
Sounds like a dance move.
We riding around on a late night. Got no playlist, just a radio on. Parents want it back by midnight. It's already past 1 o'clock, and I don't even think she cares. She just wants